What's going on, everybody? It's Chris here with InsideTheU. Thanks for stopping by. It's an exciting day, the first day for fall practices for the Miami Hurricanes. Right behind me, the new fields, Green Tree practice fields. They got the sprinklers up and running. They just want to make sure they keep this hybrid grass ready to go for the next practice. Also out in front of me, Cobb Stadium. I didn't mention that, but they got goalposts here. They got a field laid out here as well. I'm looking at sprinklers getting ready, and also you could probably hear, and I apologize for the sound, but guys are working. You know, they're still trying to do some renovations, some work to be done on the outside of the field behind me. And I'll show a view of the field from field view, but I highly recommend checking out the drone video that I did with the updates there. But let's talk about practices today. All eyes on Carson Beck. It's his first official practice with the Hurricanes. Here's what Carson had to say. I'll get into my thoughts, but here's what Carson had to say about his first day, first practice as a Miami Hurricane.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously I was super eager to get to the first practice and super excited with how everything went and just being back out on the field. You know, it's a great feeling. I love football and, you know, being away from it for so long. I mean, player-led practices only go so far, you know what I'm saying? It's not like actual football where you're out there with D linemen around you, O linemen are blocking. It's real football. There's run game, there's play action, there's deep passes, short game, quick, all this different stuff. So no, man, I'm super excited to continue to keep working, and honestly, it's all gone by so fast. You know, I can't even believe that I've already been here for 7 months. So honestly, just try to enjoy every day, take it day by day, and be the best leader I can be, best quarterback I can be.
And with practice, I was certainly focused on Carson. I'll have a full video of his first official practice, and you can see him go through drills, you know, throw to receivers, but also the way he was talking to his teammates. Again, I just had the camera kind of glued to him, kind of just watching his every move, just kind of try to gather more information on Carson. I thought it was great. The way he talked to his teammates, and Mark Fletcher in particular, you'll see it on the video, and he explained it afterwards because other reporters obviously saw it as well, and just kind of what his approach is and how he's going about it. But, you know, he's trying to, it's two ways. It's not just, you know, maybe giving some advice, but also he wants to hear from them. You know, what do other players see when they're going through drills or catching passes or how they're turned or going up against a defense. They're just really trying to learn as much about each other both ways as they can. Get ready for the season, but it's just the process of getting a new quarterback in here, a guy that didn't participate in spring ball. But Carson did say he felt like this time here at Miami has been great. He said he can't believe it's been 7 months, but he's been doing the most he can when he hasn't been able to be out actually practicing, but just kind of getting to know guys. And also he said he's just trying to be a little bit more vocal this year. He said he's always been kind of a vocal guy, but just making more of a point of emphasis with that. And to me, I think that's great, coming into a new environment, but also an older guy. You know, this is his final year. So I think he's taken the right approach to everything. I thought he spoke well afterwards. And then throwing the ball, you know, just how did he look throwing the ball? I thought he looked good in drills. I thought there were times, and it was funny the way he kind of mentioned it afterwards, which we kind of saw, or I certainly saw that in drills. He just felt like he had a live arm. And you know, there was a deep ball that kind of got away from him a little bit, but I thought for the most part he threw the ball well. There was one pass in particular, just throws a good deep ball, that, you know, a nice spiral, and I just thought he has a good arm. You can kind of see that it's pretty evident. The ball comes out of his hand pretty well, and also, you know, Cristobal, the other coaches, even players, they just kind of speak about his presence that he has. Being an older guy, his size is noticeable, experience, and there's just a lot of respect from the program he came from. You know, Georgia clearly is, you know, they were on top of the college football world. So everyone's really aware of where he came from, and I think there's a lot of respect there that he was a quarterback at that program. So I just moved over a little bit to Cobb Stadium here. I'm sure the sound was a bit distracting. I apologize. And also I can still hear it, so hopefully it's not too loud. Sometimes with this noise distraction in the background, I can obviously hear it. I just don't know how it comes across until final editing. And, you know, so I'll pay attention to it. I apologize, but certainly I'll keep that in mind. But I just want to show you guys the field. And I actually got some updates on that. I'll get more into practice and media day, but I do want to talk about the construction of the field because I've been following that project quite a bit. And I just got some great information. It's great being able to talk to people that are involved and that know what's going on and to be able to pass that along to you guys. So yes, the plan right now is behind me, as you can see, they were doing, if you saw in the video, the last update, yes, they're continuing to kind of do work on the outside to kind of get the expansion. It's going to be a 37,000 square foot expansion from the indoor practice facility, and that is ongoing, but certainly the focal point was they want to get the field ready to be able to use. So right now they're going to continue to do work. And what they're going to do is they're going to build the structure up around, the expansion. And then when that's done, and it could be, maybe by the end of the year, I'm just throwing out a guess, maybe early of the year, depending on how all of this works. But then at that point, they'll kind of tear down the wall and kind of connect it. So that's what they're going to do. So the wall's going to stay up the way it is. They'll build around it. And the idea is maybe by spring, they would have that expansion completed, or maybe that goes into spring. I don't know exactly the details, and with all these details, it'd be great to get updates from Dan Radakovich about these kinds of things, but just kind of talking to different people. I'm trying to provide as much information as possible. But I don't think this project is going to take that much longer. It looks great as it is. They got good plans in place, and certainly if I were to guess, I'd say by this time next year, I would assume that the indoor practice facility expansion would be completed. So the other thing I think people were curious about is outside the fence. What's going to happen there, or what's going on right now on that east side by the lights, the stadium lights. But right now they're using that as like a work area to be able to transport materials for working. And then eventually, when that's done, when the project is done, they will have a second 100-yard field over here, or close to it. So they will have more grass than they have right now. And as you can see behind me, and I talked about it, they're using Cobb Stadium right now as an extra outdoor field. They'll continue to do that throughout August. But yes, they were out here today. We didn't get to see them, but I could hear them, and I know they practice outside. As I mentioned earlier, it's certainly warm out here. I'm feeling a little bit of sprinklers, but it's not a bad thing at all. A few more observations, and when it's first day, I could literally provide a lot of things on the whole team because there's a lot to talk about. And I'll kind of periodically kind of add different things. I don't want this to be a really long video because there's a lot to talk about, and I'll kind of continue to progress throughout the fall. I want to thank everybody for kind of following along. These reports, I enjoy doing them. I want to talk about Coach Merritt. Matt Merritt, the running backs coach. To me, I did a lot of interviews. There's over 10 already posted on the channel, plenty more to come. So stay tuned to the channel for that. I try to post as much as possible with these video interviews to give you guys as much information as possible. Matt Merritt, the running backs coach, to me, that was my most enjoyable interview that I had of the day. I thought he provided great insight in his philosophy on how he goes about coaching the position. Mark Fletcher, Jordan Lau, both kind of working on improving their overall bodies and kind of getting ready for this season. Jordan Lau gains some weight. He's up to 205. I talked to Jordan about that. He says he feels great. And Coach Merritt said, look, with running backs, he's paying very close attention to when guys add weight. And a couple of things that stood out to me is it's not just about gaining weight, but he wants to do so in a gradual rate. It's not about getting to 205 immediately. It's just he wants to continue to put on good weight, have the body be adjusted to that. And Jordan says he feels good. So we'll see how he does. We've seen running backs over the years gain a little bit too much weight. Sometimes they go back and forth. But I find it fascinating because it's not an obvious thing, and every back and every body shape is different for that position. So curious to see how it really looks. And I think Jordan's certainly going to be a big point of the running game. They want to run the ball. I talked to Coach Dawson about it. It's certainly going to be a high priority, a high point of emphasis for this team. I think it always will be under Coach Cristobal with what they want to do up front. They want to be a physical team, even if they have that passing element like they had last year, like they hope to have again this year. The other thing, too, I want to mention, yes, Jordan's going to get a lot of carries and plenty of opportunities, but I think it's going to be Mark Fletcher. I think he's going to be the primary back. I know they're going to have a two-back system, but I think Mark, and he's sitting at 225 right now. He says he feels great. Everything that he went through last year, not just the personal loss that he suffered, but just if you remember dealing with the injuries coming into the season, he wasn't at full strength, and he got cleared right before the game, the Florida game, and he just kind of didn't. I don't think that's going to be the best Mark Fletcher that we see. I think he's ready to have a really good season. Again, talked about the connection he's kind of been trying to develop with Carson, and just I really like what Mark's kind of bringing to the table. He's an easy guy to root for. I think with his size, I think he can really make a statement this year, and with a guy like that, I think he can get really productive yards, and he knows it. He wants to be better than last year. He touched on his touchdowns, and he felt like last year was essentially fine. That wasn't the exact word to use, but he wants to be better, and I think he will be. I think that's reason for encouragement. The run game is going to be important this year, and they've got other guys too. with Brown there kind of transferring in. They're looking forward to seeing him. Merritt said, he likes what he's seen on film, but we'll see how he does in fall practices. So we got him, Pringle, good quick feet, kind of saw a glimpse of that today at practice. I had a chance to watch him in high school too. So we'll see, maybe he can kind of get in there and get some run too. So really competitive group, but obviously Fletcher and Lyle are the top two guys in the backfield. My overall takeaway with this team going into fall camp, they've got a lot to prove, and I know there's some reasons to be excited. I get it. Picked second in the ACC poll there by reporters. A lot of people contributed there. Clemson was one, and they expect Miami in the ACC title game. And I think, looking at it now, I think it'd be a real disappointment if they weren't at the ACC title game. So we'll see. That's the goal. They want to improve on last year. They want to improve on certain areas, and looking forward to the coverage. Appreciate everybody. Again, hopefully the noise wasn't too bad. I'll listen back. If it's really distracting, I'll knock that out. I'll do these afterwards because they're going to continue to work out here. So I've got to find a different spot. It's on me. I'll pay attention to it. But it's just great being able to be this close. Earlier when I was doing the drone videos, I wasn't able to be right here on the field. And also, I was not expecting to be able to provide an update. So I'm glad I was able to do that for you guys. If you have any more questions, definitely drop in the comments below. What do you want to hear about? What question marks do you have? There's a lot to get to with this team, a lot of position groups, a lot of players to discuss, new guys as well. But definitely want to thank everybody for your support. Looking forward to covering fall practices. Hopefully have a good rest of the day, and take care.